Hello, everyone. This is LeimomiTV, Intuitive Soul. I'm a coach here, and we are here with my beautiful client, Evelyn. And today we're going to basically do my Leimomi TV Client Impact interview series, where my past clients share about how their soul line blueprints really changed their life. So I'm here with Evelyn, who is a health and wellness coach, and she has her beautiful Your Body School. So why don't you just tell us more about who you are, what you do, right? What is your sacred work that you do in the world?
Thank you so much for having me today. I've loved the experience with the blueprints, and I'm excited because I think when most people talk to me, it's really apparent that I'm very logical and I love science. I work in health and I'm a health coach, and my business here health education and working with other health experts about what it takes to really live your healthiest life. And I use tools like the blueprints that you created, Leimomi, to just help me get further in that area. It gives me this vocabulary that's really enriched the process of my business creation, especially when it comes to health and what it feels like and looks like to live a healthy life, because the words and the vocabulary that we have to talk about that subject can be really limiting sometimes. Emotional conversation and having a language to be able to talk about it like that helps so much in my own creation process and being able to understand my clients and the people that I serve.
Yeah, I remember when we had our first conversation, and you're kind of like had an idea what your superpower was, right? But I could hear it all in all the phrases that you're saying. I was like, she's gotta be the power superpower. But I can't really say that up front because I need to look into your Akashic records and get into source origination, and then I can really figure out what is your gifts and your blueprints because it's all very specific to you. But I remember you're like, I know what it feels like. I think I'm doing it, but I'm not quite sure because I know you felt like confused and a little bit like limited in what you're kind of doing, and you've been watching me for a while, right? And so you're like trying to figure out, well, what is it that is what is the my gifts and how is it supposed to look like? So what were you experiencing then? What were you experiencing and struggling with before you met me, and then you got your blueprints?
Yeah, I think, this is a journey that I've been on in just discovering my own self and my gifts and who I am. And it's something that I was already trying to do in my business and with my team and with my clients, just getting people more in their gifts and less of what makes them feel like they're butting heads, and especially for myself too. So I could recognize in my own life and business that there were times where I just felt like I was getting in this zone, and that flow state that people talk about. It was like I could recognize when I was in it, but I wasn't necessarily able to cultivate it, and I could tell when I wasn't in it and when I was doing this, but I didn't have a way to be able to describe, well, so my main gift is power, and then my two secondary are self-expression and love, which is as a health coach, it's so natural, right? I love my clients and I love physical bodies and biology and life. So it's a very love-based field, but when I operate out of love, I'm doing this all the time. I was butting up against a wall, just creating so much more work for myself. Whereas now with the blueprints, I'm able to recognize and cultivate when I'm actually acting out of my first gift of power and being able to inspire people into loving their own bodies versus trying to appeal to them from that place of love. It just makes so much more of a difference in how I operate every day, not just in my business, but the quality of my own life and how I get to interact. It's amazing. And things started to change so quickly. That was the craziest part, and how fast things and how much things are still in here.
Yeah, I remember it was like you were doing the opposite, right, of your three main gifts because we found that you're more the power, not the love. And it's natural, I think, when you work with people that you think that's your main superpower, that's your main gift, but actually it's what makes you work harder because it's the outcome you give to others. And instead of doing it backwards, right, from the love all the way to the power, you realize like, hey, no, it's actually the other way direction. Let's work on being aligned to power first, and then I can help them find their voice, what they want to say in the world, and then give them those tools of love that that they need for their body. And so I remember like you got this big epiphany, like, wow, that makes so much sense. Right? When you started to embody power, your power superpower, I saw like an instantaneous shift. So like what were like some of the experiences you had like from then on, like what awakenings you had or manifestations that happened like right after and continues to happen now? Like what kind of like happened through that process? Because I think it was only like 2 months or so, right?
Yeah, I think this process. Exactly. I think I'm not even at a 3-month point after I've finished the 8-week course. So it hasn't even been that long. And so one of my favorite exercises in the program is doing your money your money limits. So the low end to the high end, like what are you comfortable in, and just finding like the boundaries of what you're comfortable receiving. And then knowing that when you're acting out of your strengths, how much more revenue you're able to bring in. And that has been the one thing that's been so consistently true through this whole period, is just how out of the blue. And I'm not just saying like people buying my products, but things water leak and ended up making, because we're doing a lot of the work ourselves, money on the tax return that we didn't expect, amounts of money that started coming like trackable thing that I could see, or amount of people interested in my particular business, or leads or projects we were able to get done. I mean, it objective and measurable things. So like I've been watching this stuff just over the course of this time, and it's just blown me away. So that's been one thing. But I think if like articulating how it was actually able to make that shift is just, these were all things that were already existing in my life. It's not like you just came up with this, gave me this like brand new information and now I need to start applying it. It's like, this is already who I was and what my gifts were, and having a language and a framework to be able to not only communicate with other people like you or my friends that are on this same journey, but within my own life, being able to say, this is when I'm acting out of this gift and this is when I'm not. And I need to be able to do more of this and less of this, and setting up the boundaries that make sure that that's the place that I'm acting out of. It was just tools to be able to help me become more of who I already am, which is awesome. Like, that's great. It's not like you implanted a new personality on me or anything. You just gave me the tools to be able to be more of my best self.
Yeah, I saw that big shift, like especially when you said that you had a big shift with your husband and your business together.
He found so right away we found it was, his husband's been on a journey of trying to discover what he wants to do for a business, and not even that. I mean, we found, just kind of dropped into our laps, this 90-acre property that had been foreclosed that has a drag strip on it. So he does car racing. And so he's in the process of creating this business and applying for the business loan and going to talking to advisors and all these things to be able to create this business for himself. And it was definitely like as a direct result of the work that I was doing in my life, just seeing how it had an immediate impact on the people around me too, and how others were able to be more of their best selves because I'm able to be more of my best self. And even in my relationships and in my teams and partnerships, there's just so much more authentic connection. And it just feels like it's right. This is why we need a language for this stuff, because it's like, well, it feels better. It's like, it feels better. I don't know how to objectively put it, but it's like I have a better quality of interaction with the people around me and with myself because of what I've learned from your program and the blueprints.
Yeah, I think like what was easier for you was like saying like, hey, like this is how my soul is designed. This is actually my boundaries. This is actually how I get freedom. This is how like I can express myself. Like it just like gave you the language so that you could actually say what you actually wanted, right? And not feel like bad about it, or, you know, you're sacrificing yourself or anything like that. It was like you could actually use your voice, right? Like directly, clearly stated, clearly and to the point, and everybody listens. Right?
Right. My communication was so much more clear. That was a part of it too, was when I'm communicating out of my gift of power, I don't have to worry, because self-expression is a secondary gift. But if I'm understood or expressed, it gets very confusing. But if I just communicate out of, this is what I want, because that's the question for a power soul is, what do you want? So if I'm operating out of a place of, what do I want for my life, I inspire that in other people around me, and people understand me naturally, and they naturally feel loved. And I don't even have to think about those things, because they happen as a natural result of me being in my strength of power. And boundaries,
Yes.
man, it's like, over this process, it's like all these lessons came initially, and then they keep circling back and getting better and bigger and stronger. It's like, here's the gifts, and now keep polishing them up and just watch them grow. That's been a really interesting part now that I'm, almost 3 months out from this.
Mm-hmm. So now you have your blueprints. Like, how do you use it in your daily life? Like, how does it impact everything else? I mean, we already talked about most of this, but like, how do you use it in your daily life?
That's so fun. I have it right behind me. I can show you. So I'm very organized. I have a printed planner. So if you've ever, just shout out to Michelle Rohr's life planner, because she does the ultimate life binder, and I love it. So that's what I use. And I made a section for the coaching program, so that when I'm doing like my everyday life and planning and organization, I also have this tool set to be able to fall back on. And especially when I'm looking at to be operating from, or which of my 10 life areas can I be making progress towards, because I'm a variable soul, so I need to be making variable progress. And so I have it all, and it's like, this is like almost like embarrassing. It's so ridiculous. All the sections are tabbed and labeled, and all the journaling questions, so that I can come back to it and just reflect on it. And it is a vital part of my daily work that I do and that I can connect with, because it's about it being a consistent reminder. I want it to get to a point where I just innately know the information, and I not just memorize, but that I know the feeling integrated into this place and how I'm able to access it. So I loved it. It's a part of my every single day. I reflect on it consistently. I come back to the videos in the course on a regular basis, less regularly now than when I that interjection of like, wow, I've really strayed off of my path. I need to do some course correction. It's what I go to. It's one of the tools I immediately go to. So yeah, this is my binder.
I love it. Yeah. It's so much your blueprint design in the first place. To like have all that different order.
Totally. Yeah. And it feels really good. And it's just about me getting to be more of who I already am, and not feeling like I want to get to the point where I don't feel like I have to apologize for my crazy tabbed binder, because look at how good it makes my life, and being able to celebrate it. So it's making progress towards the person that I want to be, and any tool that I can use successfully on the way to get there. And the blueprints have been a huge part of that transition into this person that I am today.
Yeah, it's amazing how much like you just really embody this in such a short period of time.
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, a lot of people, when they first get their blueprints, they're like, yeah, I already know that, but like you said, like, I know that, but I'm going to really change my life, like to be the best ever. Right. And work towards it, do the spiritual mindset, work on all the deeper issues that you have inside, the things that you actually want to create, and like seeing you grow rapidly so fast. It's amazing to see that, even if you have information, and a lot of people don't realize this, that you actually have all this information already there, but you're not utilizing, you're not actually like doing it every single day. So the more action you take towards it, the more your lifestyle, your business, like everything just becomes abundant. Like you said, like you started to have more leads, and like your communication was better with your team, like all kinds of stuff.
Oh,
Like
I'm going to Thailand in like a month, no big deal. Just like 10-day luxury yoga retreat that I forgot to mention that one. I mean, it's crazy when you start walking this responds with being grateful that you're doing what you should be doing. It's who you are. It's this reflection of your best self. It rewards you with it. The world will reward you when you are your best self. Yes. Even if it doesn't look like it at first, like it's a water leak and it looks like it's going to be crazy. And then all of a sudden it's the exact amount that you needed over it to be able to do a trip or buy a ticket or something like that. Like it's just being able to hold this faith that like the path that you're walking is the right one, and then looking for all these positive signs of validation and affirmation along the way. Like I remember you did the gift exchange over the holidays, right? You felt called to do that. I met two of the most amazing women, and now I'm working with one of them. I'm working with her, and she accepted my gift. Caraballo, I cannot roll my R's, so I just wreck any language that needs an R rolled in it. But yeah, and she's like my soul sister now. And so it's just the universe is just so excited when you are being your best self, and it just blossoms in front of you. It's so good. It's like, why are we all doing this?
Right. So what are your dreams and goals like for the next year? Like what do you see yourself doing more of?
So yeah, one of the things that just dropped into few weeks was doing more public speaking. Like someone asked me, what do you want your outrageous goal for 2018 to be? And I would love to be paid for public speaking. I think that would be an amazing experience, and it's so this year.
Ooh, I love that. That's perfect for you being a power type of superpower.
Like who knows how it'll happen, but yeah.
So how can people contact you, like to work with you? Like any last words that you have for us to share with us?
Oh, absolutely. First of all, if any of you have any questions about the Blueprint program or what it might look like for yourself, I'd be more than happy to talk to you. I have had such a wonderful experience with this program, and I think no matter what point that you're at in your self-discovery journey, I had done a couple of years worth of work, but whether you've done this is such a great tool for being able to help you be more of who you are at your best self and less of who you don't need to bother with it, because there's so much easier. If you need help getting there, these blueprints, it's just so worthwhile. Oh my god, put in the work and it will reward you. I mean, in tenfold at least. It's like I wasn't sure. It was the biggest coaching investment I had made sure quite how it was going to be paid for. I was like, I think I can make this happen. I'm gonna figure it out. And did I figure out that I've made has been outrageous. I think my monthly income has increased some months by almost $10,000, which is more than double what I had made in some months in the previous year. So that alone, I mean, I don't know how to objectively say, like, make a direct connection between the two, but all I know is that's what happened. So do with it what you will. And that was pretty interesting. And if you would like to reach out to me more about health or health education, or if you're curious about having a conversation about what I do in health, you can find me at yourbodyschool.com, YOUR-bodyschool.com. And I'll throw a link in there for you guys, or just send me a message. And I love to talk to people, so I'm happy to send you a chat anytime.
Yes, I'll put it below this video so you guys can have her website and check her out because she has a really amazing school that really helps lots of experts in the health field. So thank you so much for spending this time with us, like, and especially all of you guys who are listening in now. It's been an amazing journey just watching Evelyn just like totally fly in just like a couple months. It's so funny, like how I see, well, from our first conversation to like where you are right now, doubling your income, like, you know, having abundance flow in different ways, like 90 acres of land is falling in your lap. Like these are no coincidence. These are when you really own your superpower, the abundance starts to flow. Everything is much more easier. And it's just, yeah, phenomenal. So when I hear what you're doing, I'm like, I get all chicken skin and get really excited just to see how much you've grown. It's so beautiful.
Thank you. I'm proud of myself for making the commitment. Like it's because it was work, but it's not work. Because it's so much fun and it's so easy, and to see how quickly I was rewarded by investing in myself, and that not only do everyone is benefiting from it. My community, my business, my clients, my relationships, my marriage, my pets benefit from me being my best self, period. So if you're on the fence about that, if you're like, I can't take this money away from my family. I mean, obviously, if you need to pay rent, but it's like, if you can make this happen, if you can invest in yourself, family in your life will benefit as a result. It's in this block that we have, thinking that it's selfish to care for ourselves first. Like, you are serving the world when you become your best self, is what I would say. None with.
Oh, thank you for all of your insights and your beautiful manifestations, because it's so awesome just to watch you unfold into
Right back at you, all of us.
Yes.
All of us. I swear, it's so wonderful to be on this journey with you, and all the women that you attract and the clients that you attract. It's a great community to be in and be a part of, and I hope to see, if you're watching, I hope to see you there.
Yes. All right. So thank you everybody for listening in for this LeimomiTV Client Impact interview series. My modality, the Soul Alignment Blueprints certification modality, is actually going live very soon. So if you guys are really interested in actually taking it to the next level, finding what your blueprints are, actually also doing the blueprints on other people, then, you know, I have my certification program, my 8-week programs to really help you through that process. So you can still visit me at www.leimomikilikui.com, and the information is all there. We will be talking to you guys all very soon for our next interview. You guys all have a beautiful day. Aloha.